Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Figments of Filament
And Figments of Filament's boyfriend.
whose idea it actually was.
What was?
This lightsaber cane.
Oh, well, there's the intro.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, this is the lightsaber cane. And shout out to, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to butcher your name, Emanuela, who wanted me to create this video for her to see the creative process.
Does it start with an E?
Yes.
That's probably like Emanuela?
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 Anyway, you know who you are. Shout out to you.
We know who you are.
We know where you live.
We don't.
Actually, I do.
Wait, no, you do. You're shipping yourself. Fuck,
Yep.
Never mind. Okay, she does. Be afraid. No.
My goodness.
I gotta stop. I can't be involved in this. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, alright. So here we go. Alright, so I got the original files for the Luke Skywalker lightsaber at thingiverse.com. And here's a picture of the finished product. And then a picture of the computer model, another one in front of their 3D printer, whoever designed it. All the different pieces like pulled apart. And then I'm moving that around, looking at it from different angles, because Thingiverse is awesome like that and allows you to enter the Thingiview and move it around and see it from different angles.
So there's like a 3D render so you can actually see it all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not just like a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then they've got other pictures and of gluing it together. So these are the original source files here, and then there's a summary.
So these are the files you're basically taking from the site and you're going to convert into your model to make with the cane.
Yes.
Gotcha. This is just a lightsaber, not the cane.
Correct.
The cane is your creation.
Yeah. And so here are the original source files, and you can see that it's Creative Commons, and it doesn't say no derivatives, and you have a remix it button that I'm hovering over. That means I can remix it. So that's what I did. I remixed it. I downloaded those files. I entered them into Tinkercad. Here I have the pommel open. That is like the part number 1.
And that's the butt of the lightsaber for
Yeah,
everyone who's listening there. That's the butt end of it.
Yeah. And so now I'm showing what I did. What I basically did was I created a hole in the original design wide enough for the cane at its widest part. The hole I made was 25 millimeters, and so the cane was probably like just under that because you can't do it exactly, otherwise it won't fit. You need a little bit of wiggle room.
You also need room for the glue.
That too. Yep, so I did that with the first part, second part, third part, fourth part.
So there's a hole running through the whole of the cane, the whole body
Yeah.
of or the lightsaber.
Yeah, it starts at the bottom at 1 and goes up to 7. And then it was part 5 and 6 that it was actually too skinny to, like, when I put in that hole.
There was just not enough material left over on the edges.
Yeah, and my screen recording, or not my screen recording, my Tinkercad crapped out on me right here, so I had to reload the page. But yeah, it was too small, so I had to make it bigger and then cut the hole into it. So
the cane, or the lightsaber part actually had to be thickened, right, to make more room for you to cut away?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep, so I did that on part 5 here.
Otherwise it would be too flimsy.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, it wouldn't exist.
Gotcha, it would just cut it out of reality.
Yeah.
This is where there would be a lightsaber.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I did that for part 5.
So all of this is to basically make something that the cane can fit inside of, it's making the lightsaber sleeve that fits over the whole cane.
Correct.
Cool.
And I had to do that for piece 6 as well. So there's the original piece, the wider part that I made, and then the hole. So I show those taken apart and putting back together, and then my finalized project.
Taking apart a hole, that's like multi-dimensional.
Right? And then there was Lightsaber 7, that's the top, the blade emitter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 2 little C cup sleeves. I had to do some wonky stuff with that.
I don't know if C cup is the word you're looking for there. They're 2 little like C's, right? When they fit together, they make a sleeve. They make a circle. They're 2 half circles.
Yes.
And that kind of makes the end where that's right where the cane juts out from, right?
Yeah.
I remember that part on mine.
So it's a cylinder that's like sliced in half.
And you just kind of have to fit those around the cane, right?
Definitely, because the cane tapers as it gets closer to the end, and that would leave wiggle room in the cane inside the sleeve of the lightsaber. So I turned this piece into like a size adjuster, basically.
So it's narrower at this part, and that's why it had to be made separately. It's narrower so that it holds the cane in place once the cane gets narrower.
Yes.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, and I had to make 2 copies of it and then cut it in half to have the 2 sides.
Oh, neat.
And I show taking that apart, putting it back together. Looks like it adds about 3 millimeters if I remember correctly.
And that's what's holding right around the point where where it stops being lightsaber and starts being cane.
Correct.
Neat.
Yep. So then I click on my files, I click download for 3D printing. STL is the file type that I use.
So even though these started out as someone else's lightsaber design, you've really kind of made it your own by turning it into this sleeve for a cane, basically. That's pretty cool. They can kind of work together almost with something that someone worked up and make it into something totally your own.
Yeah. And then after I have the STL file, I need to put it into a slicer. I use Simplify 3D here. Actually, I had something already loaded in there, so I deleted it and then loaded all of the lightsaber pieces. Lightsaber 8, that's the power cell.
The little switchy box on the side.
Yeah, so that didn't need to be changed at all because it didn't need to have a hole in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's just on the side that's purely decorative. The power cell.
So I didn't edit that at all. I just used the original file for that one.
I prefer the term switchy box, but why not use the right word and say power cell?
And then I'm going through my settings here. I use a layer height of 0.32 millimeters. See, what else have I got in there?
So that's like how much or how thick each layer of the 3D printing is, right? Of the plastic before it layers on top of it.
Yep, and I've got 20% infill, so like 80% of the 3D printed part is actually going to be air. 3D printed stuff is still pretty darn strong at 20%. I mean, you've cut yourself on stuff.
Oh, I tried to break something 3D printed once. All I did was slice up my hand.
Yeah.
And that keeps it really light, right? That's kind of the benefit of that also, is it keeps it nice and light.
It keeps it light and it saves you on filament.
But, of course, it's also still very durable for those of us using it on an everyday basis in our canes.
Yeah.
It's not saving filament at the cost of quality.
Yeah, and also it's saving time, too. Like, that would take 80% longer to print.
Yeah, and this already is a involved project. But I use one of these every day, and that 20% infill never comes back in a negative way. That thing just works.
So I'm going through my settings here, and I even have this cool script that allows me to change filament at different heights. I don't use that for this print or this product, but I do for others.
That's how you could change colors with different things, right? Like if you're making something that was one color on the bottom and another on top.
Yep, exactly.
Neat.
And then you can choose different models here, so I can have different settings for different pieces if I need, but fortunately I just needed all the same for this one. So I'm just poking around in my settings right here, making sure everything's good.
Cool.
Yep. And then I hit prepare to print. It thinks for a little while.
Go computer, think. Think as fast as I can.
And then hit save to disk, and then I save it as Lightsaber Cane. And I've already got that saved, so I'm not going to do that here. And then, once you've got the file, you go back to your web browser, and I've got Octoprint set up, which is an awesome way of making your 3D printer wireless. Otherwise, you have to shuttle back and forth this SD card, which I actually did for the first 9 months.
Like a caveman.
Right?
I'm sorry, cave person.
So then you upload your file, which I've already done. It's listed there as Lightsaber Cane, you can see, and then I basically just click load and print. And of course, nothing is happening when I do this on my screen recording here. And I click it again and nothing's happening.
Gotta love when things work.
Right? So then I just reload Octoprint, sign in again.
Optimum efficiency.
And I click remember me because that totally works and doesn't ask me
every
single time anyway.
Question, how much faster could you have done this on an SD card by now?
I don't know. So anyway, I scroll back. I scroll back down to the Lightsaber Cane, hit load and print, and finally it loads and prints. And there's even this cool graph I have here that shows me the temperature of the bed and the nozzle, and it shows it in real time what it is supposed to be heated up to and what it actually is.
So you can just make sure that all the values are what they should be when it's working, correct?
Yep.
Neat.
Alright, and then here is a time lapse of the 8.5 hour 3D print condensed into 33 seconds. I think it took a photo every 4 minutes, and basically you just see the 3D printer bed going forward and back, and the nozzle going left and right, and these 8 pieces being built from bottom to top.
Just layer after layer, each on top of each piece until they're finished, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's so cool.
Alright, and then here I've got the finished pieces at the kitchen table, lining them up from right to left, from 1 to 6. And I glue them one piece on top of each other. 2 on top of 1, 3 on top of 2, so on and so forth.
Until we've got a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. The kind of glue I use is CA glue, cyanoacrylate, I believe. It's the same family of glues as super glue.
But better.
Yeah, this one is made by Instacure and is called MaxiCure.
I swear by Instacure. It's just great for everything. Works better than super glue.
Yeah, I think super glue sets too fast. This takes a little longer to set, so I have more time to move things around if I need to.
Yeah, it's solid. It holds really well. This gets day-to-day use, getting moved back and forth by whoever's using it, and it works.
Yeah, it has really good hold.
Oh yeah, very good multifunctional glue.
Yeah.
So what do we got going on? You still gluing?
Yep, still gluing. There is a piece called the Z seam, which is where the 3D printer stops one layer and starts another. Anyway, I'm making sure that all lines up because otherwise that bothers me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Would that be important for the structure that lines up to? Or is it just kind of a preference thing?
Nah, it's just aesthetic.
Well, aesthetics are still important. Make everything look good. If you're trying to stylize your cane, aesthetics are kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
The core function.
Yeah, I mean, you want to show this off.
Exactly, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
That's why I covered mine with glitter.
Yep, he did.
It's very glittery.
Yep, got all the 6 main pieces together there, and I'm straightening them out.
Don't worry, we aren't glittering yours.
It's true.
Upon request. Kidding.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Alright, and then I've got the box with the cane from the NFB. Opening the box. Comes bubble wrapped.
Shout out to the NFB.
Sponsor us.
Oh my god. We're not even that works on the podcast. That doesn't even work on it.
So anyway, it comes with this nice leather case that I'm pulling it out of.
I'm not kidding, it doesn't even work on the podcast. So pull it out of the case.
And it didn't even really fit in that case, which is good because I have to get rid of them anyway. They're too skinny. Once the lightsaber sleeve is on, it's too big to fit in that leather case.
The cases aren't that, they aren't my favorite part of the NFB canes anyway, to be honest with you. Just someone who uses the canes every day, the cane is great on its own.
Mm-hmm. Then I throw away the packing slip as well, which coincidentally is not in Braille, which makes sense.
Right?
Right. And then the cane comes with a nylon loop wrist strap. So I'm taking that off the bottom of the cane right now so that the cane can fit in the lightsaber sleeve. And I'm actually going to reattach that to the outside of the lightsaber.
And I love that, guys. I actually wear it on my wrist like a wrist lanyard. I guess that's what it was for originally, but on the outside of the lightsaber, I wear it around my wrist. And so that way, when I'm not holding, or when I'm holding the cane, if it gets knocked from my hand, I don't lose the cane.
Exactly.
I also loop it around my belt, so when I don't want to carry the cane, I can hang it from my belt.
Yep, and I knew that was an important part of it to you. And so there's a hole in one of the pointy parts of the pommel, for lack of a better term, that I just thread it through.
One of the little protrusions on the pommel, right?
Yeah.
There are like, what, 5 of those?
Or 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe?
I don't know. There are a few.
I don't know. I got my cane right over here. I should just check.
But anyway, so I'm showing off the inside of the lightsaber sleeve, put the cane in it, and show that it wiggles at the end, because remember it tapers. And that is where the cylinder, what do you call them?
The little C pieces.
The little C pieces.
The half circles, they are cut and they fit together into a cylinder around the cane, between the cane and the rest of the body of the saber sleeve, and that kind of anchors it in place at the end where it gets narrower so it doesn't wiggle as much. Is that about right?
Yep, that part.
Cool.
And so then
you call it a C cup. I wanted to touch on that again.
Thank you.
Moving on.
Moving on. So I'm trying to put glue on those pieces right now, and it wasn't working. It turns out the top was clogged, so I had to peel off some dried glue.
When that used to be bad, I mean, when in the older Instacure bottles, you used to have to take like a screwdriver and just jam it down in there to free up the top, and eventually just start cutting bits of the top off.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, it used to gum up like crazy.
But anyway, so I got it, and then I put glue on one piece and drop another. I remember having dropped things quite a few times in this clip, actually, because I am coordinated like that.
And I'm the blind one.
Right?
Lol.
So yeah, got glue on both of the C pieces, and then I put the cane inside the lightsaber sleeve to see where they go, line them up. Then I got them lined up, and then I pull it back out so I can hold the external blade emitter part on while it glues, and that's what I'm doing here.
So that way you know it's kind of fitted into the place where it needs to be.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So that's why that's more securely attached to the cane. It's not glued onto the saber, it's glued onto the cane.
Yeah.
That's cool. I never knew that, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the cane equivalent of a C-clip on the back of a lock.
Yeah,
kind of. It's the piece that holds it in place, really.
Yeah.
Keeps it from wiggling around.
And so I'm just holding it now till it sets enough that it won't go anywhere if I let go.
Is this in real time?
This one is, yes.
Oh my god. Cool.
Well, it's not too long.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you.
Oh my goodness.
I'm helpful.
Yes, you are.
I'm not, guys. I want everyone in this clip to know that or like who's watching this to know I'm not helpful.
Alright, see, I'm done. It's good. So I
Awesome.
slide it back in, and then I glue that C-clip, I like that term, to the lightsaber sleeve.
You like that term too?
Yes.
Yay.
Because, like, it is a sleeve that fits around the handle of the cane. Anyway, so I'm gluing that, lining that up with the Z-seam, because that bothers me. And then the power button, that 8th part.
That's the power cell, right? The little switch box.
Put glue on that and put it on there too.
And that glues onto the side of the saber, right?
Correct.
Gotcha. Kind of describing it for the folks at home there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problems. That's a little, for my blind friends who get this, that'll be the little rectangular piece that's kind of a little box with, they feel like buttons on the side. They're like the prop buttons for the saber. It has little lines on its outer facing edge. And that's what's glued onto the side of the saber there. It's how the Jedi would turn it on in, like, the movies.
Yep, absolutely. And then here I've got, I think, 8 times speed of me doing the black paint. The 4th piece, the very, like, ribbed part, the divots, I guess, the valleys, are all painted black. And then the one skinny part above that is also painted black. I think it took me about 20 minutes to paint that, but like I said, I've got it on 8 speed.
Yeah, you did it all while I was watching YouTube videos, and you did it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that ribbed part, that's the part where usually your hand is going to be, correct?
Yeah.
Kind of that ridged area where you kind of you can feel the lines.
Mhm.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm painting those all black, and I do print this in silver, so it starts out all silver, and then I apply the paint afterwards.
So we got the whole thing silver, and by the time you're done painting, it's black and silver.
Well, it will be after this first part. There are some more colors coming.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. That's probably one of the longest hands-on part.
The painting?
Mhm.
That takes longer than the gluing, yeah?
Yeah, the glue, I just set it and forget about it until it's done.
Cool. The paint definitely seems like it'd be more involved.
Yeah. And I use acrylic paint, if anyone's interested.
How come acrylic paint?
Basically I did a Google search of what kind of paint to use on 3D prints, and that was the consensus.
Neat.
And it works, so I
so
haven't
far,
changed.
So good, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Mhm.
So we're still painting the black right now?
Yep, almost done.
Neat. And that's mostly on like the ribbed piece still.
Yeah.
Is any other part painted black?
Oh, two of the buttons on the power button.
Okay, on the switch.
Like there are 2 triangles and 2 rectangles. The rectangles are also black.
Oh, okay. So the 2 larger buttons, for those who are feeling it, correct? The 2 ones that are larger and protrude a little more?
Yep.
Those are black.
Alright, and then I start the gold color-ish. I'm not sure. Kind of a mustard color? I don't know. Anyway. So the front of the power cell is painted that, as well as the top skinny part on piece 6.
Okay. So the part right before it gets a little bit wider and then narrows into the blade emitter. Okay, the skinniest kind of part there.
Yep.
Neat.
Yeah, the 2 skinniest parts for the blade emitter. Bottom one's black, top one's this gold color.
Neat. And we're talking about the bottom being closer to the pommel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for clarifying.
No problem. Just in the way the cane's oriented now, versus when you're holding it, the bottom part's going to be the part toward the tip of the cane.
So then I'm painting the front of that power switch.
And that gets mustard yellow kind of color as well?
Yeah.
Neat. Gold sounds more attractive than mustard.
Does. It's hard to explain this color, but yeah. And then those 2 little triangle buttons I mentioned earlier also get painted. The one towards the blade emitter is green, and the one towards the pommel is red.
Like an on-off switch or something there?
I'd assume so.
Yeah. Green for kill. Red for stop killing.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, there we are, folks. Completed project.
Lightsaber cane.
Yeah.
I want to make lightsaber noises now.
Oh, that's better, yeah.
That was terrible still.
Well, it was better than mine.
Well, no, yeah, it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool project, though. You did a really good thing here, and I love it. Every day I use it, and people just can't stop telling me how cool my lightsaber is. Now, if only they could stop telling me that in the bathroom.
Yeah, that'd probably help.
A lot. Nice lightsaber.
Yeah. So anyway, this was my dear boyfriend's idea. I just made it a reality.
And she did a great job of it, everyone. So claps for Figments of Filament here. Claps.
And thanks for the inspiration.
That, so it sounds like we have an audience. Aw, thank you. Well, you inspire me every day.
Aw, love you.
Love you. Bye, everybody.
All right, peace out.
Peace.